Here with Ronnie Britt, going up against Doug Jenkins for the second time tomorrow night. Ronnie, tell us about how training went. How are you going to prepare for tomorrow night's match?
Training sucked. I got the crap beat out of me all the time, which replicates a lot of what happened in the first fight. So, hopefully I'm not a third round punching bag like I was last time. We've done some things to address that, so hopefully that pays off for all the hard training here in the last month or so.
Talk about Doug Jenkins as a fighter and as an opponent.
I like Doug Jenkins. I like watching him fight. After our fight, he was a great sportsman. I like fighting sportsmen. He was a warrior. He came out and he surprised me. When I faced off against him in the weigh-ins, I thought, man, I'm gonna walk through this guy. He's unassuming looking, he's polite, he's quiet, almost to the point of being shy. And I mistook that as, hey man, this guy's afraid of me. He was not afraid of me, he's not afraid of anything. He come out and kicked my ass. I might have won the first round, but he wasn't swayed by that at all. That shows me what heart he has, and he brought that out of me when we had the fight of the year. And so I'm a big fan of Doug. I watched him fight other guys. With the MCC, they bring him down. They don't give him any easy fights. He's got murderer's row, and he does well. And our fight was 2 years ago, so he's only gotten better. And I like to think, hey, I was young and young when I fought him, but I was 46 and been fighting for 13 years, so that's no excuse. I'm over the hill, and I've only got two more years down the hill. So I don't know what is in store for the fight. I just hope our heart will come through. And we'll show the fans.
On a different note, we'll talk more about yourself. I got on Facebook this morning and I saw a picture of you, and the caption read that you had never missed weight for 15 years you've been part of MMA. Do you kind of take a sense of pride in that?
I like being professional, respectful of my opponents. And martial arts, when I started when I was 12 years old, judo and doing catch wrestling and stuff like that. And so showing respect to your opponent and to the MCC and the organization, it's a very professional organization. Being part of that, it behooves a fighter to show up and be on to be professional. Respect your opponent. I've had opponents show up in my fights weighing 185 pounds or 175 pounds. That's not very respectful to me. It's not very respectful to themselves, the organization. Many guys think they'll get an advantage doing that. So it's good to show up for yourself. I like to take pride in doing that. I cut a lot of weight to get there, but I get there. And if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Talk about how training went. How did everything go in this past month or so?
Training went really good. Feel great. It feels good. Worked a lot on the wrestling. Just riders are going to take it down. He's able to control it way well. So I've really been focusing on not letting that happen. I feel like I'm accomplished my goal.
Talk about the first match you had with Ronnie. As you prepare for the second match, just kind of take us back to that first match and as you prepare for this one.
First match is crazy. I took it on 10 days notice, and it's just because I wanted to fight here. This is a big show. I'm from South Dakota. They don't have shows of this quality up there, so I wanted that, and fought out of my weight class and fighting. It went really well for me. I was able to stand up with them. They didn't know anything about me coming down there, so the game plan wasn't to just take me down right away. I was able to stand up with Ronnie a little bit and go back and forth more, and Ronnie was able to grab a hold of me and implement his game quite a bit as well. His chokes and almost put me to sleep a few times actually. So been really focused on that and choke defense. Once again for this fight. So,
what do you think of Ronnie Britt as a fighter and as a person?
He's a great fighter, a great man. Nothing bad to say about the guy. I respect him. He's actually the only person that I wouldn't want to fight again that I fought. If asked that rematch with, I need to fight. I wanted to fight. I wanted to come back off of this loss strong. My opponent pulled out, and nobody nobody else would step up and take the fight. Ronnie did, so that was kind of my option. So I feel terrible for having to actually step in the ring with him. So, but we'll put that away tomorrow night and friends afterwards again. So,
Chris, you had about a 3-week notice for this fight against Josh. How did training go, and what do you think about this fight coming up tomorrow night?
Well, I really don't ever stop training, but guys like fight camps, I don't know. I just keep training. I was rolling with Charles when he was on the card. Some things happened, so I filled in while John told me, and that's what you got to do when you love the sport.
Talk about your previous matches. Just think about how they went, and as you prepare for Josh as him for an opponent, how do you kind of relate and find differences in those matches?
I really don't train per person, like I said, on the MCC website. I train for fighting. I train for any opportunity, any submission, any guy that's a knockout guy. We train all around. I'm based out of Winter Street Fighting, but I train at other gyms whenever they allow me to come and I teach, and then they give me their feedback. I usually just train any aspect of the game.
What's it like being a part of this sport? I mean, to you, what is everyone best like?
I really say, and Ronnie, Britt will contest to it, the fans are great. They are fickle sometimes when it comes to fights, but they always want to hear how you did. Like guys like me that have fought all over the U.S., it's great when it's on TV and they're like, hey man, I saw you last week, or hey, I saw that rerun, it was a great fight. Just going to Wisconsin and coming back there and just knowing that the fans are there, that's the reason why promoters bring fighters back that are exciting, that are up and coming, is because they want their tenacity, they want that whole broad of fighter, as I can say, I'm marketable as in that aspect, because I'll go out here and I'll talk to anybody, it doesn't matter. Just like I'll fight anybody, it doesn't matter if they're my friend, the enemy. I don't fight too many enemies, but most of the friends and everybody that I grew up in this sport, we love it to death, and that's when the fans pick up the rest.
Josh, how did your training camp go?
Training went great. I had the battle of being the trainer and the fighter at the same time, but still went great. Trained my ass off, got ready. Weight cut was rough, but training was great, so I'm ready for tomorrow.
You're originally going to be going up against Charles Diaz. He got replaced with Chris Mickle. What do you know about Chris?
I know a lot about Chris. I mean, he's an armbar and triangle hands. He's strong as hell on his back, his guard. He's there to bang. He's not going to back away from their opponent. He's there to just fucking waylay you. It's going to be a fight. I'm looking forward to 3 solid 5 minutes of just beating the hell out of each other. As long as I stay out of his guard and block that armbar and keep laying elbows on his dome, I think it's going to be fine. I'll work my ground and pound, he'll work his subs on stand-up, I'll be working my taekwondo, he's working his boxing. We're just going to fight out there in battle, and I'm hoping to come out on the top. I'm not thinking it's going to be a quick fight. We're going to beat the hell out of each other. Come out of there bloody and bruised and dizzy as hell, But screw it, it's a fight. We're going in there to battle. I'm excited. The winner gets to fight for the belt in October, so we need to go out there, put a show on, beat the hell out of each other, and come back and win that belt.
When you and I had talked, we talked a little bit about your training. Your schedule is a little bit different than the rest of the fighters. Overnight, you're trying to get conditioning and training sessions in as quickly as you can to get back ready to work. And you usually get the inspiration from a fight. What does that mean to you, fighting for your family and that pride?
For me, it's everything. My old man's been my coach since I was born. I started taekwondo with him when I was 3 years old. I've been doing martial arts ever since I could walk, basically through him. And now that he can't really be there to coach me, he's got cancer, he's battling hard, he's had 5 or 6 surgeries, he does chemo and radiation every day of the week. So he's a battler, man. He's in there. He's got a feeding tube. Before it got too intense, he had his tube going to keep good chest here, and it would come in and grapple with us. He'd wear that thing, get mad at us if we would take it easy on him. So to me, that's the true test of being a warrior. And I look up to that shit, man. I can't even explain to you how much I look up to him. he never gives up. He keeps getting shit thrown at him with that cancer. And he just takes it and keeps going. He hasn't given up and he won't give up. So that's how I take it in fighting. I do my fighting through him. He can't do martial arts at the moment, so basically he's living through me. So I got to do everything I can to make sure that I can live it right from the man. And my mom's, she's fighting. It's been an emotional struggle for her. Having to watch my dad deteriorate in front of her and take him to appointments and everything. So my mom's a fighter too. It's just in the family blood. And I got to do it for them and myself and for all our family.
How'd training go?
Training went good. It was like usual, always good. No injuries this time, so felt 100%. Ready to go after I get rehydrated.
You're going up against Johnny Case, who's the current lightweight champion of MCC. What do you know about him?
Well, I know. Well, not a whole lot, really, so to speak. It's not like I've seen him fight from when he first started. I've seen him fight a couple times. I remember I seen him hit a flying knee in one of his amateur fights, or maybe his debut pro fights, several years back against a guy named Mike Miller, which, he was quick, he was savvy, what you'd expect of an upcoming, good guy. And then back in February, I just recently got to see him fight, and I cornered him in my longtime training program to Mickle Needs. I watched him fight, so therefore I know what I'm getting into, and that he's tough. He can take a shot, keep on coming, and give him back. So I anticipate one of the best fights MCC's ever seen. That's hands down.
You got 10 experience under your belt. Do you see that coming as an advantage going into this fight at all?
Well, yes and no. You know what I mean? I've been in deep water before. I've been in 5-round fights before. It doesn't really pay much of a difference because every fighter has a tendency to do different things, just right down to little things, to right to where his feeding are, or how he's throwing his punches, to his kicks. So, not really. Everybody's different. I've noticed with a ton of females, like female fighters, I've been coaching Cassie Raj a little bit, and I've noticed after paying more attention to the women's division that a lot more women fight differently compared to who they're fighting in their opponents, and then I start realizing that every other fighter does the same thing. It's about who you're fighting and your nerves, like taking pass. This last week, Jake Elmer's fighting against, I can't remember his name right to get, but they're two dominant fighters in the welterweight division, and they're both exciting fighters, but the fight was boring because, everybody fights each other differently. That's why I basically see it as, I don't see it helping me any, and I don't see it hurting me any. So I'm just ready to go in there and get it done.
Johnny, you put your title up for the line once again. What does that mean to you?
Oh, it's great, man. I'm just excited to get in there and get another win on the record. Work on some stuff, showcase my skills, and put on an exciting fight for all the MCC fans.
As we talked about earlier this month, you kind of watched Ronnie to see Ted Worthington fight. What do you know about him, and how did you prepare for him during your training camp?
I know Ted's a game opponent. He's a fighter. He's a fighter of a fighter. He's scrappy. He's got heart. Training was the same. I trained hard and put myself through as much hell and as much punishment as I could, so that Ted Worthington can't possibly think he could do that much pain. I already put myself through the worst possible scenario. So the fight tomorrow is going to be easy. It's going to be fun. It's just going to be. It's going to be everything I prepared for.